Welcome back, everyone. Feels like it's been so long since I've seen you, but I know that it hasn't been that long for you. So, I'm James Marcuzzo. This is the KSS. It is week 7, and I am going to try to give you some understanding of the Constitution. In this first video, I'm going to talk to you about the House and the Senate, right? The legislature, the People's House. It is the largest branch of government with 435 members in the House and 100 senators in the Senate. It has the most power, the most capability of any branch of government, certainly more so than the president, although there has been shifts over time. So, at the outset, what the Constitution does in Article 1, there are, I think, 10 sections in total. The earlier sections indicate who is eligible to be a member of Congress, and that is someone who is 25 years old, at least, and been 7 years a citizen, and shall be a resident of the state in which they are elected. Fair enough. And it's for 2 years. All members of Congress serve a term of 2 years. But there are no term limits. In Section 2, there is the famous but defunct 3/5 compromise, which requires some context. It is certainly an indication of human degradation by the institution of slavery, but it was also an attempt to mitigate the power of the South. Right? The South said, well, we're not going to join this new country if we can't count everybody in our state, right, for the purpose of members of Congress. And the North said, well, no, you don't let those people vote. They don't have a political voice, so you shouldn't be allowed to count them. And the South said, well, then we're not going to play. And the North said, well, okay. And then the compromise happened. And so that's why we have the 3/5 compromise. It's so that we could draw all the states into a union with the allowance for some of the enslaved population to be counted. There's also a provision where there shall be no more slaves imported after, I think, 1803 or 1806. But the cotton gin created by Eli Whitney changed the economic viability of the plantations and the demand for cotton, unfortunately. I mean, it was a great invention, but it had a terrible impact on the institution of slavery, allowing it to continue. So 25 years old for a member of Congress, 7 years a citizen, and a resident of the state that you're elected into. Senate, on the other hand, being a smaller body, they are elected every 6 years, but they're split up into 3 sections. So 1/3 of Congress has an election every 2 years. Right. So the elections coincide with the House representatives' elections. So just know that every 2 years, 1/3 of the Senate is getting voted in or out. Members of the Senate must be at least 30 years of age and been 9 years a citizen and an inhabitant of the state in which they are elected. The vice president shall be the president of the Senate. So in this case, Kamala Harris is the vice president. And if there is a tie between the two sides of the Senate, then she would be the tie-breaking vote, only if there is a tie. Then, subsequently, I think probably the most important stuff is probably Section 7. Really be familiar with that. I'm not saying that any of this is not important. It's all literally how our government functions and the rules, and it's not that there are not that many of them. But Section 7 talks about a bill becoming a law and what that process is. So familiarize yourself with that. And then Section 8 of Article 1, there are the enumerated powers. Those are all the capabilities that the Congress and the Senate have. And there are several of them, and I won't go through, but I highly encourage you to familiarize yourself with them. Yes. And then, well, really, there's so much to be said about the Constitution, but it's frustrating that we have such limited time with it, and that also we really, there isn't an appropriate amount of background that we are able to create in the class with all of the other things that we have going on. So, please contact me if you read something that is unclear, or if you just want to have a discussion about it. In the meantime, good luck, and we will talk again soon in the next video.